Greetings and good morning. Today I wanted to talk about my whole date palm experience. Um, as many of you know, I have started a small date palm and rose farm, and my objective was pretty clear from the beginning, and that was to basically create an environment where I can introduce more natural ecosystem to this area. Lots of bees, bringing back bees here. There are bees here already, but bringing more so. And just creating a diversified environment because in this area where I'm living, it's all grass, it's all crop, it's all sheep. That's it, and nobody nobody even remotely has a date palm plantation or roses for that matter. In this state, in South Australia, there are some rose farms, and there is one date farm which is in the southeast, and there is one in the Northern Territory. Those are the only two that I'm aware of, and perhaps there are more, but um, I'm not aware of those. I've never heard of anything else. So when I first moved here, there was nothing at this place. It was basically dust, prickles, um, and that's it. Well, there's a peach tree here, an old peach tree that's managed to survive and yields beautiful peaches. The first proper crop was last year, and that was amazing. And that's about it. Nothing else um, is here, and the soil is good in some areas and not so good in others. So it's been a very experimental stage for me here to try and work out what I can plant, what doesn't work well, conditioning the soil, and bringing the soil to a pH which is balanced, and basically having minerals and nutrients and oxygen flowing through it because this is a heavy clay soil. And last year was my experimental year of working out what I could grow. Roses were always on the cards for me here, but it wasn't until my experimental year last year of trying new flower species that I realized that roses were the only way to go, and basically the only flower that I should really focus on. Uh, Geranium was here in abundance, that grew easily, and obviously those that garden know that geranium grows just about anywhere under any condition. And I had a lot. I would say I didn't have a lot, but I had a couple of bushes of rosemary, and that was it. That was it. So last year was a tough year. It was a massive, massive drought. My bore dried up 3 times, and two were major, and one was a kind of minor one. But the major one, was over Christmas, so Christmas Eve, perfect timing. And well, I had no water for 9 days or so, and it was just hideous because it was in the peak of summer, and um, you need water. You need water, and so it was a big challenge and learning curve for me. But this place, obviously, it was my first year here, and this place, as far as I know, they said they hadn't had a drought like this for 50 years. And some of the residents here, there's only about five of us, um, but some of them have been here since they were kids, and they're in almost in their 90s. So they would have seen some changes. And thank God this year we have had rain. And we had a beautiful rain yesterday. So it's been raining a lot, and I haven't needed to water my garden. So, out of all the plant species that I thought would work here, obviously dates and roses are very hardy species. Dates are desert plants. They survive um, for years um, with minimal tolerance, with minimal water, um, and they're easy to grow. They adapt well, and roses are the same. They're a hardy species, and when all other plants die, it's usually a rose that is still alive. The canes of a rose bush are strong, they're hardy. You can cut them, you can grow them, and they produce the most beautiful flowers. So, to me, roses would have to be my most favorite flower. I tried growing dahlias here. The dahlias just got knocked by the wind and the heat here. Um, I am growing a couple by seed this year, and I will put them in a different position where there's some more protection and some more shade. Um, and when I eventually build a hothouse, I may try at growing some in there. But for now, um, it's simply it's not feasible. I also have statice growing here, but again, that grows just about anywhere. This year, I put some everlasting daisy in. Sweet pea grows here, and that's basically about it. So I wanted to focus my finance and my experiment and my project towards simply roses and dates. So I this year I have spent a lot of money on bringing in the species of roses. I have um, one section of my paddock which is devoted to the Iranian rose, which is Rosa damascena or Trigantopetala, which is the famous attar rose. It's the rose that yields that incredible Iranian um, essential oil of the rose. It's used for rose water. It's used, you can eat the roses. It's used for so many things, not particularly in this country, but in Iran and in the Middle East. When I lived in the Middle East, our tea was rose tea. We would add rose essence to our coffee. It'd be with everything. Um, so that's actually one thing I really miss about being in the Middle East is having rose water in everything. That was one part of the project, and then obviously the date palms. When I first moved here in January of 2017, I went to this southeastern um, date farm. It's called Ingaragara, and I went to buy. Uh, I wanted initially 20 date palms, but I could only afford 16 because I had budgeted for 20, but I didn't realize their price had gone up 6 months after I put in my initial request. Um, that's the downside with this. At least their price just kept going up and up, and I'm sure now, a year and a half later, for sure that price would be again probably another $100 at least more. So per date palm it was $180, which is very expensive. So obviously 16 it all adds up. And I thought to myself, how am I going to do this? I can't afford um, 200 date palms. It's just not feasible for me to uh, have those date palms. So I love eating dates, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to try and grow them from seed. Um, the only gamble with growing dates from seed is that the date palm is dioecious, that both male and female are produced, and you don't know which one is which until they're, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years older. Um, so there's no way of knowing if you have male or female. So that's the gamble. And then also, you don't know how good the um, the species is going to be. But I don't care. That's fine because I already have 16 true mother stock palms. So I have already one male, and it usually takes about one male to every 50 females. So basically, one male can pollinate 50 female plants. And I have one strong, sturdy male. He's a fard. That's the species, a fard date palm. And then I have the others, 15. Actually, I'll say 14. I will say 14 because one died last year. She was always my weak one. Um, she always had the weakest root system, and last summer she died. So I have 14 of those. But those are beautiful, strong females, all different types of mother, um, all different types of females: Sultana, Lulu, Khadrawi, Bahri. Um, I can't think of off the top of my head, but there is enough. And so those plants, I'm guaranteed to yield crops, and good strong crops of dates. So so that's covered, and so I'm willing to take a gamble on seeds. So what I did basically is I got these dates from places like Medina in Saudi Arabia, Mecca, um, from Riyadh, from I got some dates from Bam, in southern Iran, and some of these date species are not in this country, as in the plant is not in this country, and I have managed to germinate some of these from seeds. So um, I have, for example, the Ajwa date, which is from Saudi Arabia, and I have the Matsafati date, which is from Iran, and that's not here in this country. So I feel, I have a little bit of a niche in that I have date palms that are not in this country. So I feel good about that. And so once these start growing, I'm going to have this amazing crop of different types of palms. I don't know how they are going to turn out, but you know what? I've gone from 15 date palms to over 70. I have 70 date palms on my property. so, so those remainder of those 15, I have grown from seed. It's taken from maybe November last year and until now to get them. I have them about this size. The fronds are very slow growing. It's winter, and they're about this size now. I germinated hundreds from seed, but these are the ones that have pulled through this season, and basically now I have 70. So I'm excited. Obviously, they're going to be um, not producing fruit as quick as the bigger ones that I have in the ground, but they're there. They're alive. They're growing. They're in this area. They've survived their first winter. Um, so, I feel that's been very successful. So I've basically saved myself. If we're going to do some calculations, let's just go on, like, let's just say now, I know the date palms are probably over $200 for sale. Let's just go on $200 times 70. That's $14,000. Let's just take away 15. So 55. So 55 date palms times 200. So I've saved myself $11,000. That's $11,000 I've never had. And I will say that with this project, money comes in and money goes out just as quick. Running a farm, building a farm, is a huge financial investment. It's a huge job, and I am having to come up with creative, savvy ways of generating income and stretching income, and really using the money that I have very well and very economically. It's a huge job and a huge undertaking, and anyone that's run a farm or has a farm will know exactly what I'm talking about. It's huge. It's a huge thing, and I'm doing it on my own. So I don't have a husband. I don't have a partner. I don't have a private silent investor. So I've done this place off my own back, and I'm having to learn how to make gates and fences and renovate. And there's just I'm so busy every single day. There's so much to do here, and it's a good thing because I love doing it and I love challenging myself and I love learning. I feel confident now. I feel confident building a fence. I feel confident building a gate. I feel confident using a drill. I feel confident doing heavy duty labor. I feel good with those things now. Whereas when I first began, I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. I can cement a wall until the cows come home. Like have learned how to use a cement mixer and making really good cement. And it's so much, it's so involved. And to now have 70 date palms on this property has it just feels so successful, even though it's like in the beginning stages. I feel that this little project that I started, growing them from seed, not knowing if it would work, has worked. It's worked, and I feel so good about that. So I feel like this is the first stage, and now this next season, this next summer, I'm going to um, germinate more seeds. So basically, just keep building. Growing dates from seed, it's been a huge project and a lot of nurturing over the months. And, from one stage, so basically growing, like getting the shoot to actually come out the date palm, to get the shoot to come out of the seed is one step, and then to um, put them in soil in a cup in a confined incubated environment, then that was another stage. Then to generate roots that are about this big, that's another stage. And then the last stage, was seeing the actual green shoot coming up from the soil. And for me, that was an indicative of needing to plant it. And so that's what I did. As soon as I see a green shoot come out, I put that date palm straight in the ground. And so far, out of the 71 or so that I've planted, only one has died. It could have already been a weakened root system anyway. So, it's a big lucky dip growing it from seed, and it's worked. It's been the most affordable way, and I'm so glad that I have given Mother Nature a chance to provide that abundance for me. And because this is how it would have been done in the ancient times. They wouldn't have had this tissue culture scientific laboratory like we have today to produce, a replica, an exact replica of a mother plant. They would have planted their dates from seed. Um, uh, Dr. Elaine Solowy, I believe her name is, from Israel. She is a botanist in Israel. She was given these 2,000-year-old seeds that were found in Masada, King Herod's site in Masada. There, they found these canopic jars of of date seeds that were preserved, and she was given, I think she was given a couple to germinate from seed, and she managed to germinate one from seed, a beautiful male, strong, healthy male, and they called him Methuselah. This beautiful, extinct date palm that was grown from seed, and to see him grown from seed, and he is a very strong looking plant. And so I believe that all these dates that were grown from seed, they are the originals. That's how they would have done it back in the ancient times. So that encourages me and that inspires me to keep growing them from seed. So, it gives me encouragement to grow these species from seed, because um, some of these dates are not here in this country. So I feel encouraged to do that and to invest the money into the dates, to bring them over and then start them from seed. So yeah, it's been the most incredible experience, and but I wanted to share this experience with the date palms so far, and basically giving a background as to what I'm doing here. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to browse the other videos I have, and until next time, thank you so much.